Big Al's Rant with Cayden McFarland, powered by Jack Cassee Ford.
Cayden, aren't you glad that Mike Gundy's made it okay to eat on television now?
Definitely. Got my raisins
Good.
for today.
Yeah.
It's a healthy snack.
He likes bananas. I like power bars.
Yeah, Mike Gundy eating his banana during yesterday's post-game press conference.
So
and
I'm glad.
said he needed some potassium.
Breaking new ground.
That's all it was. You run for 330 yards, you're short on potassium.
Got to keep
I guess
those
that's what
potassium
happened.
levels up.
I gotta keep
Zach's
the
with us.
potassium.
What are you eating, Zach?
Raisins. Got some raisins here.
I'm impressed.
Whatever's
We're
in
into
raisins,
health
we
food,
got that.
baby.
Yeah.
All right. I know this could be debated, I guess, but I'm going to suggest to everybody out there, including yours truly,
Including, yep.
that the three teams played their best football of the year yesterday. OU, it was the perfect scenario,
Man.
and you got to love it when you go on the road and you shut their mouths like that. Like that.
West Virginia's
Game
got to
was over
stop.
like that.
West Virginia's got to stop this pregame chirping when it comes to OU. They did the same thing last year in Norman and lost by
doesn't
20, and this
work.
was even worse.
It's stupid. Stop it. Well, as we will hear from Mike Stoops, he loved it. We'll get
yes.
to that in a second.
Yeah.
Now, OSU, I thought they played obviously their best defensive game.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Stupid call of the year, however,
Which one?
was TCU's
Oh.
fourth down at the goal line at the end of the
Running
half.
back, roll out, and throw. Yeah, that was nuts.
What was that? Stupid. Good for OSU, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, I called it a goal line stand. I mean, technically it was, but the TCU stopped themselves, basically. That was
I mean, the
bizarre.
game, OSU came out second half, put it away, ran the football the best they've had all year.
Hill and Carson combined for 300 yards. We just listened to Mike Gundy talking about that. I was cutting that for our late show tonight.
With banana
and he says,
in mouth.
He says, 06, 07, 08, that's how we finished games. That's how they won games, running the ball and with balance. He said it hurt him personally that they run the ball so poorly, really in the Yursich era. It is nice to see that they've, he was talking at the beginning of the year, really modest expectations. He was talking about 125 yards a game. They're above that, obviously, for the year, and right now they're a pretty good running team. Certainly were yesterday. If you play back against them, they'll make you pay. Justice Hill, Booker T kid, been fantastic.
Now, TU's win, here's why I think this was the biggest win of the year for them, where they played their best. It's because defensively they were great.
They were great
And
defensively.
I thought offensively they answered the bell when they had to. And the fact that they came off the devastating loss against Navy, I thought going on the road again.
Yeah.
But this just goes to show you that Philip Montgomery
He's got a
is
heck
a
of
good
team.
coach now. He's going to be a great coach on down the road wherever he goes.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I don't think that's the best game they've played, but if you're talking about the spot, which you are, and second straight trip to the East Coast in 7 days, and then to come out and throw a pick six early, but then slowly take control of the game, really defense, I thought set the tone every bit as much as the offense. They ran for 350 yards. But you're right. They're a good team. There's nothing fluky about this. They're 8-3, and they could easily be 10-1 or 9-2. Nothing fluky. Tulsa's a really good team this year, no doubt.
All right, let's get back to OU.
Yeah, let's roll those
And then
highlights.
Let's show some highlights of this one.
Here's how it started.
Okay. And by the way,
Pre-game show. So OU is coming over to do their little thing they do where they jump around, and they're near the WVU logo.
By the
and
way,
that's when the Mountaineers are.
remember a couple years back when Bob Stoops' personal guard or security, remember the big guy, tackled the fan who ran out into the field? He was in the middle. There he is, right there.
There's the guy.
Right there.
Yeah. Look at this snow. Didn't you love this
I was
out?
kind of hoping the snow would stay.
Oh, I love the snow.
All of a sudden.
I just stopped, but
I'll tell you what I don't love.
You know what?
Go ahead. If I won't love the snow if this is what Bedlam looks like in 2 weeks. I love it on TV. I love watching it on TV. I don't need to mess with this
come
stuff.
on.
Especially in Norman where you have natural
it's
grass.
supposed to be, that's even better. It's even better. Less,
You're usually in the
less
press box.
slippage. Oh, like I've never been on the sideline.
How long's it been?
I'm always on the sideline.
In the snow?
Wait a minute. Well, I can't remember the last time
No,
it
hey,
snowed.
I will give you credit because you are on the sideline. You carry a camera. You're not a prima donna, but I'm going to say it's been a long time since you've been on the field in the snow.
Was I
Could
not
be
on
wrong.
was I not on the sideline the last time they had Bedlam cold
The
on
freezing
in
Bedlam in
OSU?
13? Maybe
I was
you
on
were
the
some.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was on the
okay,
field. Thank
okay.
you very
Hey,
much.
all right, I'll give respect.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
I've got my
fault.
diploma
Just
from
let me
Green Bay,
finish my
Wisconsin.
raisins, would you?
I've got my diploma from Green Bay, Wisconsin, ladies and
that's right.
gentlemen.
No, you're-
I used to shoot Packer games on the
You're a
sideline.
man when it comes to that. Okay, how about the start here? I thought this was the biggest play of the game. D.D. Westbrook. The second touchdown of the game is always the biggest, and this put them up 14-0. West Virginia, they just weren't ready for the big stage, weren't ready for the big game. I
weren't
mean,
ready
they
for
did
prime
everything
time.
wrong. They were not ready for
they
prime
were
time.
not. So much for the biggest game in Mountaineer history.
Wow.
Sorry. The only reason they were burning couches was to keep warm in this inclement weather.
Absolutely. And how about, I mean, suddenly I hadn't thought of this until just now. All three of our teams ran for more than 300 yards yesterday. We are running wild.
I'm telling you, all three teams played their best game.
Really well. There's
of the
Jeffrey
season, in my
Mead,
opinion.
Union grad with
Because it
the
was
touchdown.
Meaningful games. All right, so this sets up the Bedlam Big 12 championship game.
Yep.
But here's what Mike Stoops had to say, and it centers around the very beginning of the game
Right.
when West Virginia decided to make it a rumble.
Yeah, he
Okay,
thinks
here's
that
what
was
he
a
had
bad
to say.
idea.
Yeah. No, it's no. Stop the video.
Come back. So here's what
What was
happens.
that?
We put in an ID for every piece of video that we run. And I put in RANT Mike Stoops. And last year, or 2 years ago, I guess I must have called that RANT Mike Stoops. That was when Baylor scored 45 straight against them. If we can.
Hey, Stoops, you stink. What was that? This reminds me of a story when I was working in Green Bay.
Live TV.
And I did a story on the dirtiest hockey player of all time. His name was Reggie Fleming. He was a former Ranger, and I loved him when I was a kid. And he just so happened to be still playing out his career in Green Bay with the Green Bay Bobcats. And before the game, I said, Reggie, I'm getting some video of you, but I only have 200 feet of film. I need you to, just
Get
go
after
nuts.
it.
He committed about 16 penalties in about 2 minutes time. So I got all my video.
I love
but
it.
Then on the air, this was on projectors at the time. On the air, I introduced the meanest, no goodest football or hockey player you've ever seen. And the video was this lady rocking on the front porch. It was a senior citizen story. So that's what.
Oh, yeah, that's what we just had. That's better than what we just had. Tonight, after the game, we will have that Mike Stoops sound along with Bob Stoops and Baker Mayfield talking about it. Mike said that they poked the bear, and that's what happens when you poke the bear. We've done this for a lot of years. That's what
We
Mike
had too
Stoops
many of these.
Oh, man.
Oh, come on.
RANT Mike Stoops. Don't use that ID again, Cayden.
All right.
A little inside baseball there. That's fun. Anyway, Sooners look great. Cowboys look great.
Right.
Bedlam is for the Big 12 championship. And my question now for you, ESPN has OU at like 6. They've got them as one of the first two out when it comes to the playoff. I mean, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. Do you think they're going to make it? Because we know a bunch of teams have to lose. Do you think they're playing at a playoff level right now?
I guess, but when you compare their schedule against Big 12 teams with the Big 10 or the SEC, the Big 12 has such a horrible reputation right now that
there's no defending what they did.
You know what it depends on, though? It depends on how high OSU is. Because if they can get into the top 10, and if OU and or OSU wins, that will make it that much better on the schedule.
You know what's crazy about it is beating West Virginia the way they did probably ends up hurting you because West Virginia dropped so far. You know, you got what you thought was a top 15 win. Now maybe it's more like a top 20 win. If you can, I know we've messed this all up, but roll the OU-OSU video that we had coming up where we're talking. Here we go, college football
Is this
playoff.
the right one?
This is the right video. So it is impossible to judge.
Stoops, come on already!
It is impossible to judge, but they look like a top 4 team, or a team that may be able to play at that level right now, last night.
All right,
but
so
as
you
you
think
said, this is fool's gold trying to judge in this league. I mean, just who knows?
Well, let's
Who
go a
knows?
little further than that because Ohio State's going to be number 2, even though they barely beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
Who would win the game now? If Ohio State came to Norman this week, who would win the game?
I would still have to give Ohio State the edge because of what we saw and how thorough that was. But I have become convinced that a healthy D.D. Westbrook matters in that matchup. I'm not going to say it makes up for 3 touchdowns, but I think a healthy D.D. Westbrook helps. Now remember this, OU's defense is actually far less healthy than they were then.
You got anything, Zach?
Yeah, we have a couple of comments. Gary says, I don't think either OU or OSU make the playoff.
Yeah.
OU lacks defense, and OSU lacks non-conference schedule. What do you guys think about that?
Well, he's right to a certain extent. That's what will probably keep them out, although OU's defense has gotten better as the season's progressed. They were very good yesterday in crunch time. Now, do you consider recovering fumbles at the 3-yard line good defense, or is that luck?
I did feel like West Virginia was playing poorly more than the OU defense was playing great, but you have to give them credit. You know what I mean? They made the plays they had to make. I mean, they were up in that game 41-7, and they had a defensive touchdown. So the OU defense did a lot of good things. What he said was interesting with regard to OSU and the non-conference schedule, because their only non-conference loss is a loss that Mike Gundy refuses to acknowledge as a loss. And then Bob Stoops said last night he also wouldn't count it as a loss. He doesn't count the Oregon game they lost back in 06.
Unfortunately, they're not on the committee.
True.
And the committee has already
declared
said
different
that game
things.
a loss.
Hancock said way back when that maybe they wouldn't look at it as a loss. Now Kirby Hocutt says we will. The question is, if you have a 1-loss Washington versus a 2-loss OSU that says it's a 1-loss OSU, OSU's not getting in. Washington's played too many quality opponents. But if you have a 2-loss Washington versus a 2-loss OSU,
I don't think
they probably still don't get in because Washington would have the extra data point.
Right. I don't think they win the tiebreaker.
If these teams continue to lose, and now you're talking about a 2-loss Penn State that doesn't win the Big Ten or something like that, I could see OSU getting the 4th spot. And the same for OU, but several teams have to lose is the long and short of it, I think, for the Big 12. You got to be rooting against Wisconsin, Penn State, Washington. All of these teams you got to be rooting against over the next 2 weeks.
All right, Zach, anything else?
Yeah, Nicholas says he agrees with you guys. OU and OSU both have played to the level of their opponents all year.
Until now.
Yeah,
until yesterday.
Bedlam ought to be an interesting game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Fired up.
Obviously, we're both glad that it happened the way it is.
Yeah. Aren't you way more fired up for this game than you were, say, 24 hours ago? I mean, we would have been excited, but the way they played yesterday, to me, it feels like these two teams are going to be playing their absolute best coming into this game with the highest of stakes. And I think OSU, maybe not, but 2 years ago and what happened with, Tyreek Hill, and as fluky as that win was, I feel like Gundy's over a hump with not like he's ready to dominate and just beat the Sooners all the time, but I understand what a lot of Cowboy fans had to say about his game plans being too conservative for the Sooners. He had too much respect for the Sooners. You look at his record against everybody in the Big 12 and then against OU, huge discrepancy. And I feel like maybe winning down in Norman a couple of years ago, as fluky as it was, I feel like it's changed. I feel like OSU's going to play well. I don't think that if they lose this game, I don't think it's going to be because Gundy was too conservative or they just didn't come out ready to go.
Do I feel safe in asking for Mike Gundy's sound?
I don't think I threw that in. I don't think I threw that in.
You didn't put him eating a banana?
How much inside baseball do we want? Because I could feed our producers the actual line. How much time do we have? They're starting the half. Just stick around until after the game, and we're going to have all of this sound for you. Mike Stoops,
killing us.
Mike Gundy, other people named Mike. We'll have sound from all of them talking about OU and OSU.
All right. Green Bay has just kicked off. Washington leads 13-10. Congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, 9-1.
What's that one
My
loss
brother,
against?
who's a huge Cowboys fan, was on your side
With the Romo thing.
After the Romo thing on our Thursday night rant, where
Yes.
you were mocking Romo's speech.
And
I said I was
that
moved.
mocking, or was that just?
You were mocking.
Yeah, that was criticizing.
You were mocking that thing.
Well, it was pretty sad. It was a joke.
My brother's on your side.
I love
What's
that,
up
man.
with
Are you kidding me? All right, that wraps it up. We'll do it again on Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for
Big Al's Rant with Cayden McFarland, powered by Jack Cassee Ford.